Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another after build report. Today we're going to be looking at the RX-79BD-3 Blue Destiny Unit 3 exam mode, quote unquote, from the Sega Saturn game Mobile Suit Gundam side story, The Blue Destiny. Now, this is the, of course, follow up to the Blue Destiny Unit 1 and Blue Destiny Unit 2. This is the 03, of course. The final of the Blue Destinies, I'm pretty sure. I haven't played the game, so don't quote me on that, but I think this was the last one that was produced. It's basically a more advanced version of the ground type Gundam, the one that you would have seen in 08th MS Team, but with a exam system that basically it can switch on and suddenly become, Super Gundam or something. I don't know. I never played the game. However, what I did do is I did build this model kit. Now, this is a high grade from 2018 that uses technology from about 5 to 6 years previous. So it's not going to be the most modern of high grades out there. It's, you're not looking at like the Infinite Justice style or the Justice Knight or even some of the other newer high grades like the Heavy Arms or some of the more recent ones in the past few years, but it is pretty solid. So let's go ahead and start talking about this model kit with talking about the accessories. So right out of the box, because of its pedigree of having come from this long line of Blue Destiny kits, you're going to get some of the leftover weapons from those Blue Destiny kits, including the two, you get a beam machine gun, a long-range beam rifle, and you get this really cool Gem Dominance / Stormbringer double blaster cannon that goes onto the arm. So it's just a scaled down version of the same weapon you'd see in those master grade suits. So that's actually really, really cool, and I'm really, really happy they included that. And of course, you also get a standard Universal Century Earth Federation Forces shield. It's pretty bland. It is what it is. You are also going to get one holding hand and one widespread expressive hand for each arm, which I think is actually really cool. And you get your choice of backpack parts. I've got the ones with the larger thrusters on them. You can actually switch those out for a smaller thruster size. It's whatever your heart desires on thruster sizes on the backpack. So it's really not all of that. Doesn't have super impressive accessories, but the long-range beam rifle does look really nice. And I really, really like the look of the scaled down Gem Dominant style blaster. So let's talk about the build of the kit. Again, it is based on some older high-grade technology from the Universal Century line. It's not anything groundbreaking. You're not going to find anything new here. It's just your tried and true high-grade build. Nothing fancy, but it doesn't really have to be. It pulls off what it needs to pull off very nicely. And at the end of the day, it just ends up being a pretty standard, satisfying, yet maybe a little boring to people who have built these high grades, in the past. If you like that style of build and you just want something to relax like I did on a Monday evening, then it'll be fantastic for that. But if you're looking for something a little bit more challenging or a little bit more exciting, then I would say go elsewhere. So we need to also talk about the articulation of the kit, of course. It's got really nice shoulders that inflect upwards out of the chest as opposed to forward, like a lot of high grades do these days, which I think is an interesting choice. It means you're not going to get a lot of forward movement, but those ball pegs that the armor sticks into the chest with get you a lot of forward movement at the expense of really being quite obvious when looking at this thing head on when it's just in a standing pose. Other than that, your arms are going to get, pretty much what you want. Double hinged elbow, which gets you pretty much the full range of motion there. They go up to the side, they go down by the side, they go all the way around. There's even pieces that come out on the shoulders when you're transforming it into exam mode that are actually pretty fun, but don't really add a lot to the kit. But they also don't take away from any of the ability to pose, so you have them in or out however you wish. The waist is on a standard ball joint, but you're not going to get a lot out of there because there is a plastic plate in between the top of the torso and the bottom of the torso, which kind of fills out that waist unit right behind the back of the top, behind the top of the back skirt, so that it doesn't look quite as empty. However, if you take that out, you can get quite a bit more movement. However, if you leave it in and still want to get that movement, you can. But be aware, because of the extra space that plate adds, you're going to end up pulling that ball joint right out of the socket, and his waist is just going to fall apart. It's unfortunate. Back skirt does not move. Front skirts move on ball joints. Side skirts move on up and down hinges that then pivot front and back, so you get plenty of movement out of the skirts, except for to the back, which is kind of a shame. You've got thigh swivel. You've got double bend at the knee, which looks like it should give you more than it actually does, but it's not terrible by any means. And the foot also can go forward and back and has a ball peg. So it's on a pivot joint up inside the ankle, and then where it connects to the foot is a ball joint. So that gets you that. Unfortunately, there is a pivot inside of the toe that goes forward, but it is blocked by that front ankle armor. So keep that in mind if you think you're going to get a lot of toe bend out of that. You're really not, which is pretty unfortunate. And really, honestly, out of everything about this kit's articulation, the part you're going to be most let down by is going to be those ankles and the feet and the waist. Everything else is pretty spot on and solid. The only other issue that I have with this kit is that the peg that goes from the shield into that arm is really, really loose. So you're going to have to tighten that up if you want that shield to really stay in place. But yeah, otherwise, again, it's just a very standard, very, simple, pretty boring if you're, not looking for something that simple, kind of high grade build. But at the end of the day, it gives you a unit that actually looks pretty nice. I like that it comes with the extra stickers for the extra markings with the 03, the EFF, and the symbol. There are quite a few color correcting stickers to be aware of. There's supposed to be some white ones that go on the back of the spoilers that I have on the back, those thrusters. They're supposed to be white around there. I just colored them with silver. There's also supposed to be stickers inside those black spots on the front of the front skirting armor. I just colored those in with black because the stickers left a white gap around the edges that looked really, really awful, so I just colored those in. And of course, you've got eye stickers, camera stickers, that sort of thing. And you can actually choose between the green or the red exam mode stickers, which gives you a nice little variety if you want to swap those out and have them, be different. Unfortunately, in order to swap those out and put in the green ones, because I have the red ones in now, you do have to take apart the entire head, swap out the eyepiece, put the other eyepiece in, and if you want to swap out, let's say, the barrels of the guns or the head cameras, well, no dice there. You basically have to buy a second kit and have a second head if you really want to do that. But otherwise, the kit does pretty much everything you'd expect it to do out of a high grade. Nothing that you would really surprise anybody if you're, just looking at it from a high grade standpoint. You're not going to find any massive wow moments here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing to note, there are tiny beam sabers that go into the sides of the cav armor. I don't really care about them. They are way too tiny to be useful in the hands. So they're just going to sit in there. And if anybody ever wants to open that calf armor up, which is not hinged, it just sort of comes apart, then they are free to do so and look in there. But I am not going to try and draw any attention to it. So there you have it. That's the Blue Destiny Unit 3 exam. And that's my review of it after having just built it. I hope you have a nice evening and found this helpful. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about us and give us a good rating and comment and all of that good stuff. Have a nice evening, folks.